This is Between Hooksets. I'm Chasen Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Curt Underhill from the fishing crew.
What is up, dude?
Well, you know what? I'm trying to figure something out here. Do you notice when we start, you press live, and then you press the other live, and then it tells you that you're live, right? Well, if you go back and watch the video, you go back and you'll see us sitting there looking around, waiting for me to get the second notification that we're live, and then I hit the show open. You ever notice that?
I'll have to check that out. I've never seen that.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if a person should hit the show open right after the beginning. I'm sorry, a little house cleaning here. I've had my head up this computer and the Rode Procaster and all that stuff. I just have had my head up there trying to figure things out. And
you're on a mission, my friend.
Well, I'm just not quite sure because I'm not happy with, it doesn't sound perfect. I want it to be better. I'm trying to get my camera to make me look, 11, 12 years younger. That'd be great. I don't know if it's going to happen, but here again, by the way, before we start, can I just bring up a rodeo? Because I didn't pay attention to rodeo for a while, and I'm going to pop this up because this is pretty cool. Summer Kozel lives just down the road from me here, Mobridge. Let's just say Mobridge, right? She's in Texas right now, but she's number 2 in the PRCA WPRA. I'm trying to remember what they call it, something series. Anyway, I was going to try to be really smart and remember what it was called, but she's sitting number 2 right now in points, and that's pretty cool. And then as I try to learn just a little bit more about rodeo, this kid is addicting. Rocker Steiner. I mean, this kid is unbelievably. The kid is, he could play guitar. I mean, he could do anything and everything, and he does it all very well. And he can ride a horse. His mind is in the middle. He is balanced. He is in the center. He's spectacular. He's a ton of fun to watch. And I think maybe, that's part of my coming to the Mobridge area. I get to go back to rodeo a little bit and pay attention and have some fun with that. So, but here's the other thing too, with Summer. Good evening there, Uncle Lou. How do you do? She's wearing that yellow hat. She's going against all grain, because in rodeo you don't wear yellow. And what do we say in fishing? No yellow, no banana, right?
Yeah. So
anywho, all right, let's bring in Brett, because I could sit and talk rodeo for another half an hour, and I don't want to blow the guy off because
we're going to the next podcast going to be Between the Bucks or what?
I don't know. I'm working on a new thing called Letter Buck. We'll see where that goes. But anyway, setup sounds solid. Thank you. That's wonderful.
Perfect. Well, we'll get Brett on. How are you tonight, buddy?
I was good, and then you started knocking my banana. So.
No bananas, dude.
No, here's the deal. No. I got no problem with the banana. I have banana Laffy Taffy in my boat at all times. It's in my tackle bag. It's in my Garmin. So I've got banana with me all the time.
I feel like I should leave this podcast right now. I feel like my boat's going to start on fire in the garage.
Oh no! Okay, so you're feeling like that's it. Bad luck is no. That's.
I'm on like a crusade to prove that is a myth.
It is myth.
It's in almost every video. I wish I had did you see the uncut angling video
where you filled the whole boat full of bananas?
Yeah.
I wish that hadn't happened and I did it first.
Yeah, the whole banana thing. It all goes back to the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, when they were bringing those big ships across the ocean, and the bananas and all that crap spoiled before they got to where they were going or whatever. And that's just
so basically it was they had to rush the boats across the ocean so the bananas wouldn't spoil. So the banana boats always crash the most, and that's where the myth comes from. Is when they were bringing bananas over, 100 years ago. they had to rush them across the sea so they wouldn't spoil before they got here. And that's why bananas are bad luck on a boat. But it is bad luck on a boat. Leave it alone.
I thought it was about bringing spiders over.
Yeah, no.
Well, there was. I think the spiders were part of it too. I mean, maybe it was the spiders that made the bananas rotten. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure.
If you're watching Chiquita, I'll take a sponsorship.
Oh yeah, right, Chiquita. Yep. Somebody was looking for this. I'll pop it quick.
Hey.
Oh, speaking of bananas, hello.
Here you go. This is
you want to talk about bad luck. It's having that string up the center back there that I'm like,
That's where I draw the line, though.
No banana hammock.
Right.
Regardless if it's a boat or not, I'm not wearing that.
Yeah, no, not even for a second. I mean, luckily nobody's ever said, "Here, try this on."
Oh, geez.
All right, so I honestly am killing time waiting for Goodmestead to pop in with some smart ass comment, but he's probably busy.
Hold on, I'll
text him and tell him you're on. I mean, look at there. Fantastic. So I was I catch up in chunks, right? And all of a sudden I'm sitting here watching Brett on YouTube. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Insider Fisher people. And I'm like, okay, we got to get Brett on. And I know this is kind of hard to see. I put it together real quick. And I should have blown it up a little bit, but Brett, you in this particular video, there we go, it's coming. In this motorboats and in hammocks.
It got off the rails before it got on.
That's what you know. What? Let's add a little 69 to the deal here, and then there we go. Now we've touched on everything, right?
Oh.
Okay, so the thing is the way you started the video out, I'm thinking you're done. I'm done being a guide kind of thing, and I'm like, what? This is the bull crap. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get on my phone and I'm going to call and I'm going to text every half an hour. Go, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And as the video progressed, you explained how you were making money, how much money you weren't making, that kind of thing. So. I guess, first of all, for people that might be new, explain the Bloemendaal Guide Service, Brett Bloemendaal, and the whole 9 yards, so we know where you're coming from. And then let's get into the video that kind of changed things. Should I pop this up? There we go. Okay, you guys can pick your nose, do whatever you need to do real quick.
So there was one keyword in the title, just, that was doing a lot of heavy lifting there. So technically it wasn't untrue. The guide service is still going. Nothing's changing with that. But it was half of a clickbait sort of title, I suppose. But yeah, so basically, I started this Patreon thing 3 years ago, I think, as a way to I first saw it with artists and stuff on YouTube. Yeah, right. I watch a lot of YouTube, whether it's fishing or not. And a lot of those people were, instead of trying to get a deal with a major record label, they would go on YouTube and you get ad stuff, but then they set up Patreon. So if somebody wanted to support their work, they could do that. So I thought I don't know why I can't do that with a fishing channel. But I thought I should add something of value to it and not just have people if they want to donate to the channel, that's great. I appreciate it. I think some people do, but I offered fishing reports. So I do fishing reports 2 or 3 times a week, super in-depth sort of stuff, more than what I would do on the website for marketing. So that was kind of how it started. That's the insider fishing person community, is basically the people that get fishing reports on Patreon. We can comment to each other. We can message each other, all that kind of stuff. And then to try to build off of that, what I've been working on over the last year was launching this sort of premium content stuff. I got 2 videos on there so far. I call them master class videos. That seemed like the best word to get across. Like basically they're super, super deep divey kind of videos. Like if you want something that is 60, 70 minutes long, that goes into way more detail than any YouTube video ever could, that has, you know, a solid foundation of information. So like the reservoir video, for example, it's all about fishing reservoir walleyes. And basically the idea is that it's all the baseline foundation information you need to understand how a reservoir works. So if you want to just go out and fish a reservoir, you can be dropped in anytime in the middle of the season and try to figure out from the clues, the water temps, the water levels, all that kind of stuff, work your way into catching some fish. Now, it pairs really well together with the community, the fishing reports stuff. The fishing reports is basically like, here's what happened yesterday. But I figured if you just give somebody a report what happened yesterday, that's only as good till the conditions change, right? So this is basically foundational videos that let you understand the big picture, so that when you get that fishing report and you get out there and it's different, you can figure out what the next logical progression is and stay on top of things.
So I guess it's really good for anybody and everybody, unless you're a magician and can find, you know, that 10% that's got the fish all the time. I'm intrigued by the idea. It's different than Tom Wynn, right? You know, I think if for a person like me or for anybody out there, you know, they go hand in hand, I guess.
Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tom Wynn basically does how to use forward-facing sonar.
Yeah.
Is that his main thing? But yeah. So I haven't done a video like that. Like I try to do stuff that works to my strengths, what I feel like I'm good at, what I'm good at communicating. And I like to understand things. So instead of just, you know, the old adage about giving a man a fish versus teaching a man to fish kind of thing. If you can get the foundations of how the system works, where to find the fish, and then if you want to, you know, go take Tom Wynn's course on forward-facing sonar to dial it in, that's great too. But I guess the part that I was kind of thinking of with this was like, there's a large section of anglers that are, you know, very DIY oriented. Like some people like to hire a fishing guide and they want to go out a couple times a year. That's all they want to do. That's great. There's other people that are never going to hire a fishing guide, but they are looking for information for how to get better at what they're doing. So that was kind of the market that I was trying to hit with that. People that may not ever book a guide trip with me, but it's another way to give them some sort of service and some sort of product that they might be finding value in.
Well, it seems like the prices are pretty economical, right? You got $9, $25, $49. Break that down.
Yeah, so the $9 is basically the people that just want to help support the channel. That's great. The $25 where you start to get the fishing reports. I have been thinking about whether or not I should raise that. It's been $25 since I started it. Basically like 8-10 fishing reports a month. It basically is less than a scoop of minnows per report. If you break it down that way. So I've dabbled into whether or not I should change that. As of yet, I haven't. If I did, the people that are in it will be grandfathered in already. So if you're currently a subscriber and I do raise the rates, you will never have your rate changed. So that's one perk. But then there's the upper tier, the $50 tier, which is basically like personal level access. If you want to call me, if you want to text me, if you want to talk about what's going on in the lake, just another step higher.
Okay. And I got your invoice for the $50 for having you on the show tonight. So thank you. Appreciate that.
We got a couple comments here. So I can't debate on which one I'm going to start with. We're probably going to go with Johnny Candles. So,
thanks, Johnny.
And very great comment. Thanks, Johnny. And then we're going to go to Ripping Lips Adventures.
Lathered with banana boat. Yeah, that's smelling good. Johnny, you know what? It's good to hear from you tonight.
Like I figured we start with a good one, and then we'll go back to bananas. But
yeah,
I mean, it's like 100% correct with what Johnny said. He's been doing this for 30 years, trying to get this education out with all the stuff he's done, and so much easier nowadays. But on the same note, it's also, I think there's a different challenge to it because anybody can pop their phone open and record a YouTube video, right? So to weed out, let's call it the junk or the less, I don't even want to use junk. The information you don't want probably is a lot harder in that aspect, right? Type in walleye fishing and see what videos come up.
Right.
It's insane, So yeah, it comes with its own challenges, right? I mean, but it's awesome to see that Patreon stuff. I haven't ever gotten the website, very familiar with it. I'm a big Sean Ryan fan. He's got a huge Patreon account. He releases exclusive videos and stuff on the Patreon channel. So it's a very cool, unique concept for that people who want to get more involved with what you're doing.
And there's people that want to do that, right? I mean, you have and maybe this isn't fair of me to ask, but do you have a following that you're happy with? Let's put it that way instead of saying, do you have a fair following,
Yeah, I honestly, when I first did it, I wasn't sure if it was something that would pan out, but I thought, if you don't put it out there,
right,
you're never gonna know. And it's one of those things that once it's there, it's there. It's a one-time setup thing. I was pleasantly surprised with the people that signed up for the fishing report stuff. I have 39 people, I think, currently.
That's good.
Signed up on Patreon in general as members, community members, and I put out the first masterclass video like 3 weeks ago, and there's been some people buying that right out the gate. So yeah, I think it's just another avenue. Like you were saying about, all the stuff on YouTube, there's obviously a wide range of quality.
Yeah, right.
And even if somebody's watching my channel, you could watch all 300 of my videos and not get the information that's in this. I just can't go in that deep in a YouTube.
Right.
It's not what those people want. You throw in a few nuggets here and there that are helpful, but ultimately this just gives me a chance to really concentrate and really go in detail and hit a topic really hard. And most people, their eyes are going to glaze over when they watch that on a full YouTube video. But the people that really want to know this information can go here to get it.
And that's what I like, the fact that you're still providing all that free content because it's important, right?
Yep.
And I think you've, rises to the top. You've risen to the top. You're at this point, you're on my Mount Rushmore of walleye influencers, I guess, walleye teaching influencers, walleye fishing influencers, those that are giving us the inside track and teaching us how to be better with just with little things. I don't care if it's a bottom bouncer or whatever it happens to be. It's super important. And so for a short while watching this, because I'm done just being a fishing guy, and I'm like, I'm done. I saw what I didn't want to see, right? I went, he's done. No, oh hell no, he's done. And it's kind of like In-Depth Outdoors. They were just done. I'm like, well, I didn't even get a chance to cry. I didn't. I don't even get to grieve. It's over. So you're out there giving us the free stuff. You are you're starting to make a living at it, right? And that's of course the end game for everybody. Curt and I don't have Patreon. I think Curt, what did you say you got? 37 cents from Facebook the other day?
I think I'm up to $5 after $5 for the month.
Okay, I haven't signed up because I'm an
influencer. I get paid by Facebook. I'm going to add that to my resume. I can almost buy us all lunch at McDonald's for what on the dollar menu.
Right. Give me a bananas. That's all I need.
There you go. It buys something. So I mean, these things are so small anymore; they're hard to see. But I'm going to pop one up. So this is mastering walleye trolling. So here you can see the bouncer that's highlighted there. And let me see. Did that? Oh, he had 35,000 views on that one. I almost. Two breakfast burritos at McDonald's. That's good. I almost popped up you riding bareback there for a second, but I'm like, oh no, wait a minute, that's not Brett. But yeah, the crazy thing, we've had you on before. We learned how you started doing this, and now you're making that natural progression. Do you see yourself continuing to do exactly what you've been doing, or will you be doing less of the free type of stuff, the stuff that we get on YouTube? So that's going to stay the same. You're putting more effort into the paid for content that's exclusive to those that want to pay for it or support.
Yeah, I don't intend to do anything less with YouTube. I think, like, to your point, for one thing, even selfishly, like, it's a growth, you know, engine for me. Like, if you don't get YouTube subscribers, you're not going to have Patreon subscribers. But aside from that, I just think it's good to give people information. And I've had, especially when I first started doing that, I got some criticism from locals and from other guides and stuff that didn't like the idea that I was giving out the amount of information I was. I think they were worried it was going to either bring too much attention to the lake with my small subscription base. That's ludicrous. But even in terms of like guiding, that it would hurt the guide service for either for them or for me. But I think it's the opposite. Like, you give somebody a little bit on a YouTube video and they try it and it works, they just want to know more.
Right.
So whether it's people that want a guide trip and that's their way in, or like I said, the other people, there's a large chunk of anglers that are never going to hire a fishing guide, but they still want to learn. So you got to do something like that to give them that information. And just to go back to another point you were making, like in terms of like my path or whatever, like I have been trying to figure out, like, over the last year or two, as I've been doing this longer, like what's my lane? Like, what am I good at? What are my strengths? And I remember the last time that we were doing this conversation together, you said something about being on the top tier of your walleye teachers group, which initially was like flattering and whatever. But when you said walleye teacher, that kind of triggered something for me. So I have to give you a little credit for this. Like, that is my lane. Like,
yeah,
I'm not the type of guy I'm not an NWT fisherman. I'm not going to go out there and catch a bag of 50 pounds of walleyes and show people how amazing the catch was. But I do know, enough information to teach 80 or 90% of walleye anglers how to be better. And I feel like I'm a good communicator and I know how to explain things. So those are my strengths, and this is what I'm going to lean into for the future.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I honestly, I watched your first one, and then I watched the second one. I watched the third one, and then I watched the podcast, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it, but it was with Tom Goodmestead. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. Now this guy is a little addicting. This guy's kind of funny, right? He's pretty smart. He's a little funny, and I mean little because he's not that tall. If he were taller, he'd be more funny. But sorry, Tom, I'm just picking on you. But luckily I got to meet him in person last year down in Pier, and that was great. But so the more I watch, the more and Curt will say, man, when you dive in. But I that's my thing, right? I'm like, this Brett Bloemendaal guy is, first of all, I had to learn how to say your name properly. Next, spell it properly, because I still think every once in a while I'll spell it wrong. But and then it was to say Tom Goodmestead properly as well. So thank you for saying it right on your show so I could get it right.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, here's a great testimonial to you.
Okay, let me read it, because if we got podcast people here, and podcast people. So Rippin' Lips Adventures says, I was strictly a bottom-bound fisherman until I met Brett. I love jigs and ripping wraps and other presentations. Now, since I met Brett, he's one of the best teachers while maintaining humility. Bingo. Very true. Very true.
Thanks.
You've got that casual sense of humor that makes a person go, he was just funny, and but wait a minute, but I learned something there too, so you're not afraid to say, okay, this place just isn't holding any fish, let's find the fish. And then all of a sudden you find the fish, and I realize you're not going from one spot to the next instantly. There's a little time in between, but I think we all understand that video's edited, although and I think, have you done some of those? You just let the camera go and let it roll, kind of like Nick Linder's doing. Yeah. And
one of them last year.
Yeah, right.
I realized I have some gaps in my technology setup to make that work really well. So until I can get that squared away, that was more challenging than I thought it would be. But
and that's just it, right? Like I said earlier, you got to weed through the content you don't want. But that's the other thing is, like, people think you can just flip open a phone and do this.
Yeah,
you can, but this takes a lot of equipment. I mean, a lot of gear to do it the right way. Like I said, Jason's been obsessing for a week on his sound, right? And radio guy in him, that's what he does. And I'm like, yeah, when we first started this, I didn't have a microphone. I just went off the laptop, and it's kind of it's kind of crazy on how much equipment you have to buy. And I'm sure you're like me, you bought something thinking it's going to work and it doesn't. Now it just sits in the corner collecting dust. You know, so you can watch videos so you're blue in the face, but until you can get the right stuff, it takes a little bit.
Yeah, it does. I've changed. My whole thing was when I first started, I was like, if I don't make this as simple as possible, I'm not going to do it. So I started very simple, and I'm still pretty simple. I'm still not a guy that has like multiple cameras. I'm trying to get a little more into that. My second camera is my iPhone, basically. Although I started putting like an older GoPro like on my Mega Live. I think that's nice. You know, if you're using a Mega Live to be able to see what's going on, that's a pretty good scene for people. But yeah, if it's too complicated, I won't do it. That said, I've gotten more into things like that. I do more with the editing than I used to do. And I don't like as much as we're talking about like this teaching stuff, like I still do like what I would call like adventure or vloggy style videos where I'm trying to be a little more creative and tell the story with things. So that's what I've worked a lot on, is like the camera work, the storytelling. Like if I don't catch amazing fish, that's like, again, I'm not a national walleye tour champion, so I'm not going to catch 50 pounds of fish. I might get lucky someday and do that, but I'm trying to get better at the video and the storytelling in those videos.
And we appreciate that, because that really sets it apart. It makes it easy to watch. It makes it easy to come back. Crappie T says, Bloomy is a quality person that deserves to make a living in the fishing industry. No doubt. Effort level is high. Time on the water's high. And there's the deal. That was the one thing that I learned a while back. If you want to catch fish, fish every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more time you put in, the better you get at it, right? Just like running your forward-facing sonar. People hate them, but go put the time in. You're going to learn them, right? Take your time and just learn them, and you're going to love it by the end of it, right? And maybe you don't, whatever, but you learn something out there, and I guarantee if you take the time to learn anything, you might not use it every day, but you're going to take a tip from that back to what you're doing.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that I do too, like I try to make clear, like I don't like framing myself as an expert. I just like framing myself as a person that's lucky enough to be able to do it every day. So like whatever I do on the YouTube channel for videos and tips, like this is my method. This is what I've learned. There's other ways to do it. If you like what I do and it's helpful to you, great. If it's not and you want to watch Tom Wynn's video, great. That's why there's a lot of us out there. I don't think we're not at risk for overwhelming content, especially quality content for fishing. People always want more. That's what YouTube's taught me. So,
yep. Yeah, they do. Well, and when it comes down to it, you know, I've never looked at you as an expert, as a pro. I have always in my mind, this guy's successful. And that's what I need, right? That's what I'm looking for. I need the person on the backside of the camera to be successful, because they'll make me and other people successful. So that's key word for me.
Yeah. And that's why you were talking about earlier about showing the spots that don't work. Like I might not do a video that's 2 hours uncut, but I still want the video to kind of show the story of the day. And if the story of the day meant I tried 7 spots before I caught a fish, I want people to know that, because they can relate.
Right. Because it's real. It's real. Satsbuck Outdoors says, I really enjoy your videos. Learn the small things that make big differences, especially learning how to fish solo. Much respect. Solo.
Thank you.
I'm not kidding. I can go fishing by myself and I can catch fish. I can go with someone else and catch nothing. I don't know what it is about fishing by yourself and what you learn. Maybe it's like golfing by yourself. If you hit 2 balls, you get better because you learn from that first swing. Rippin' Lips Adventures says, is there a new book in the works? On the brain?
I mean, there's stuff in the brain, but I don't know. It's so hard to make money doing that. That was one of those bucket list items I had when I started this guide service. I've always liked doing creative projects. That's something I used to do a lot of, was writing. I wanted to get that out of my system, but it's easier to make YouTube videos. And I think more people's attention is geared toward YouTube videos. And that's where I've been spending more time. Maybe someday, if I have more financial leeway, I'll attempt that. But right now it's a grind to keep this going and building. So yeah,
I would much rather that you talk the video than make me read the book. I mean, reading the book's great. Is if you got pictures, I'm in. You got illustration, I'm in. But I read every day, all day, and the last thing I want to do is go home and read some more.
Yeah, the people that like reading and like the book really, really like it, and they want another one. But there's more people that like the video, so listen to the audience.
Yeah, it's amazing. The audience will tell you what they want. No doubt. Crappie T, got to have more content because the damn fish don't bite all the time. Open mind. Yeah.
Well, and you hit something that, I want to bring up for the younger generation and stuff of, they look at you as a YouTuber, you've got a pretty well-known name on YouTube and you're a guide. Well, how hard is it? I mean, straight up.
Good question.
Let's be honest. How hard is that lifestyle?
It's a lot. Like, especially when you look at the busy months are June and July, of course. A couple of years ago, I had a string of 30 days in a row guiding every single day. And I realized I can't do that anymore. So I was fortunate to be in that situation. It was cool that I built it up to that point, but I got to scale that back. So now there's some months that are easier than others. I make a lot more videos in, April and May and September and October than I do in the other months. Sometimes I go for a month without making a video in end of June into July, but I try to block off a day here and a day there to make the video. The thing that's gotten harder is I used to, when I was first doing the video stuff, I could crank it out the next day. And now the better you get at it, the more things you start putting into it. And then you don't want to go backwards. So now my videos take me the parts of 5 days to do. And I'm making fewer and fewer videos, but each video is getting more views per video. So I think the quality versus quantity thing is the best thing to do. That helps. But then again, I still spend so much more time on the videos. So it's a lot. Sometimes I get done with guiding and, maybe work on a video for a couple hours, but I got to wind down at night and get up early and all that stuff. So it's just guiding is a lot when you start to try to do YouTube in the middle. It's not easy, but it's fun.
Yeah, because you are living it all the time. And the guiding every day for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 100 days, because I got a couple of friends that'll do that. And when it's over, it's I don't care if I ever fish again.
That was the realization I had. I was so burnt out on day 31 that I started thinking, I can usually think back to my groups and think about what we did, what we caught, what our strategy was, how it went. And there was a gap of 10, 12 days there that I totally forgot.
Just blacked out.
Catch fish, who came, how many people, I don't even know. I can't do that again. You got to have some time.
Yeah, you got to have you time. It's so important.
And the big thing is so people know, you're the filmer, the editor, and the producer on this stuff, right? It's not like you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars that you hire a crew to edit for you and produce it for you, right? So that's
ain't no money in that.
Yeah, I mean, if I was 18 years old and living in mom and dad's basement, which I don't knock any kid for doing, and going out and doing what they love and making content, go for it, right? But it's not like something you do. Even this is, we take a couple hours every Wednesday night. We pop on live because we don't want to take time editing. Plus, I don't think we are going to be good at it. And that's why we do live. And that's what we do. We're staying in our lane and we're good at it. I think we're good at it. I mean, we're getting people watching every week.
Well, we get it done. Let's put it that way. But yeah, that's so for me in 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. it's live radio. There's no recording. And I know there are a lot of people out there. They'll voice track, they'll record half their show. They'll fake whatever. The only thing I record is the weather because I just don't want to read the weather 3 times an hour for 4 hours. I'll record it one time and it's good. Right. Because that's what weatherology does. And so this live thing for me, I'm just used to, oh crap, something happens. What was it, Kurt? 2 weeks ago, my microphone fell.
Yeah,
it was right before the show. I mean, the whole thing just went bloop, right on the floor. Hello. And you just roll with it and you deal with it. And frankly, I think people that are watching don't mind it. Yeah, they're not sitting there going, well, the idiot dropped his microphone, he did whatever. And it's all, yeah, I guess it's a part of the show. Rippin' Lip says, I've read 2 books in 25 years, Fishing for More by Brett Bloemendaal twice. You'll love it, Chasen. All right. Well, you know what? I'll try it. 2-3 days of reading max. Okay. So I can, so it's not it isn't a thick novel then. Trapper at South Dakota. How many times can you say it's going to be windy today? Time out. Mobridge. I was going to sell my little 1650 with a 50 horse on it, my Lund angler. I'm bringing it up here to Mobridge because I'm going to fish out of that doggone thing almost every day because it is not what it is down at Whitlock. Down there. Huh?
For now.
Well, for now, I realize it, but I am not kidding you. I'm blown away at how flat the water is compared to down there. So, that's my plan. The minute I can put the boat on the water every day, I can fish. I'm going to fish. Jordan Cheddar, good thing this social media game wasn't around when we were growing up. Northwest of the tracks, probably in prison still. Sounds like a good. This is a good time to take a break from our sponsor. Anywho, Casey, how you doing? Content on your channel is very helpful for the system, approaches those big bodies of water. Yeah, I think, you talked about it, Brett, a little bit ago, and I know there's a lot of people that will say the same thing. Well, you're just telling people where to fish. You're giving up all the good fishing spots. Okay, you know what? We're going to Sakakawea. We're going to Shelf, right? We're going to go try Fox. We're going to, depends on where you're at there. Yeah. Independence, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so I think here's the thing. The secret spots are the spots that 99% of the people don't fish because they're fishing the spots we fished for the last 25 years and are afraid to go around the point and go, well, nobody's ever fished over there. Well, that's probably where the damn walleye are, right?
Yeah, one of my favorite guides that I kind of been mentored by since I started doing this had a line that I love, which is, I don't know if you're supposed to swear in here or not, but it's all good and it's all shit.
Yeah, right.
And that's the way reservoir walleyes are. And that's part of why I think, the premium content video I did is valuable, because just knowing spots is just kind of mean. There are some spots that have a higher probability than others of holding fish on a more routine basis, but really it's just, you got to understand the system and where they move. And
well,
I really care about my waypoints. I don't use it.
Yeah, no.
I really think we're, forward-facing sonar has taught us so much about how many times we fished an area because we thought it was good, because it was good 3 other times where, the spots aren't really the spots anymore. It's go where the fish are. That's the spot of the day.
Yeah, especially when you get into the main, this is one thing that I talk about a lot in that video, is the difference between the bays or the arms versus the main lake. If you're in the bays and arms, it can fish a little more like a natural lake. You can have certain oriented spots that are more familiar to walleye anglers. But when you're on the main lake, they're just running shorelines. Mm-hmm. There's some points, there's some shelves, there's some flats, all that's blah, blah, blah. But they're really just running areas and running shorelines, looking for water temp, chasing bait. Any shoreline piece can be, and there's how many miles of shoreline?
Yeah, right.
More shoreline than California. So
yeah, right. Well, and then when you're doing the reservoir thing, you have current of some sort. Even when you don't have current, you still have current, right? It's just because water's moving, your water level's moving up, your water level's moving down. Go live on Sharp, and okay. Wait a minute. What do you mean it's down 3 feet? 2 feet, whatever. What's the average dip there? I see it quite often, Curt, but
I'm gonna probably throw numbers out that are probably false, but I would say, so that's considered a pass-through reservoir. So pretty much what comes in has to go out within probably, I'd say, 5 to 7 feet. I've seen it go down lower than that on a very few occasions. Right. We had that incident a few years ago when we lost the chief deputy. They dropped the water massively, probably the lowest I've ever seen Lake Sharp for a couple days. And then they said, okay, we can't do it anymore. And they brought it back up. So, I mean, I've watched water change 2 to 3 feet in a day.
Yeah, right.
From morning to afternoon to whatever, were you here the first year of Sharp Showdown? Do you remember when we tried to weigh in at the amphitheater, when we tried to get the boats behind the amphitheater, brought a dock in, everything was good. And by the time guys came and weighed in, they couldn't get in.
Yeah. Right. There was a shit show. I mean, right.
The net to push my pontoon. I mean, so that was dropping the water 3 feet that day, from morning takeoff till from noon to 3 o'clock, we watched it drop that much, but that was wind driven. There was a couple other things that factored that. So yeah, from Oahe, you're not going to see a foot on Lake Oahe is not going to drop, it's going to they're going to be ripping it out. Right. Where
it's inches.
Is they shut the dam off in Pier and turn the one on Fort Thompson, it drops a foot.
Yeah, right. Up here on Oahe, I think we're at 1601, 9 1/4, and we were at 10 1/2 on Friday. No, wait a minute. No, it's Monday, Sunday or Monday. So we're looking at an inch or two here or there, or a half an inch. So it doesn't vary that much. But you think about those systems like Sakakawea, I don't think that doesn't vary too much either, does it?
It within the course of a season, it'll vary more than
right. Oh, sure.
Time in shorter time frames, no. I mean, you might see it drop, an inch in a day or rise an inch in a day when you're in the middle of those changes. It accumulates a lot over time, though. We might have a change of 15 feet in a year if you get a flux of snow and all that stuff, but it doesn't change as fast. And that's another thing we talk about in this video is like the concept of retention rate. So you have your smaller reservoirs that you talk about a pass-through system, fast retention, or low retention, fast pass-through rate. And then you got the bigger systems that hold water longer that don't.
Well, and you're like us with Sakakawea, it depends on what the Corps of Engineers, if you're on a hold year, if it's your year to hold water, your water stays up longer no matter what the conditions are, and you kind of control the system, right? Where when you're on, let's just say Pier's on the year of hold, then they got the control of you dumping your water into us or whatever, right? So it all kind of varies on which dam's running the hold schedule, So there's a lot to it, and it does change, right? You're not going to see, like I said, you're going to see Oahe or Sakakawea change over a season, not in a week.
Yep.
Unless you come on here and live 2011, and then you can remember all that.
But even with that, it's still that the lake or the reservoir fish is different, right? Because you have different levels. If it's going to drop an inch or 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 inches in 2 or 3 days, I don't think it's going to blow fish off a spot. Sharp's a whole different story. If you're talking 2-3 feet, certainly. If you're talking 5 to 7. I mean, whatever land you had along the shore, fishing in 7 feet of water, it's done because you're moving somewhere else. But then you take a lake like Devil's Lake. There you go. I mean, you're at the mercy of whether they have rain or snow, and I think they're low right now, right? I think that's causing maybe some problems with the perch.
I think it's not necessarily low, it's the runoff. The amount they're not getting the runoff in the spring they need.
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah. I don't think it was necessarily being low because it's more of the runoff situation.
Yeah.
It's ideal if you get a foot or two rise from the runoff in the spring, regardless of what the level is. If it rises a bit in the spring, for bait, for spawning, all that stuff.
So we had Jaden Wendell on last weekend, and he brought up Ashtabula because it's his home lake, and I honestly, he blew my mind, right? With the big fish, the quality, the quantity. Do you fish, or have you fished Ashtabula a few times?
No, but after watching that, I want to now.
Right? Yeah, I don't heck, because Grandpa always, hey, let's go to Ashtabula. I'm like, I don't want to go there because honestly, when I was a kid, that would have been late 70s, early 80s. I mean, basically, we were catching hammer handles. I'm like, I don't care about that, and so that was my mistake. I should have said yes and should have gone with him just to spend time with him. But I was really excited to hear that lake is alive with opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, chalk it up to A, good fishermen, but B, forward-facing sonar for the way that some of these tournaments now that I've seen out of lakes that you think are an afterthought.
Right.
It's crazy that what they can find with forward-facing sonar, but also just the people that know what they're doing, that know how to fish those lakes. And that's, this forward-facing sonar discussion is getting so tired, but in a way, like, if you think about it, there's a perspective of, oh, you're going to find all these fish that you wouldn't have otherwise caught. It's going to hurt the fisheries, but also it opens up opportunities for people. I didn't know my lake had these kind of fish, and now I'm having fun.
Right.
It's
very true. Yeah. What? A rip and lip, stay away from ashtray. They have invasive species, don't they? Right. I don't know. Yeah, right. Everybody, we've got them here.
Yeah, just clean your boat. I don't know.
Yeah, clean it up and whatever, you're fine.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like that's the thing is, like, go back to your content stuff. I mean, you need to come to Lake Sharp. I mean, you need to come down here because, you Google Lake Sharp fishing. Nick Harrington does a great job with Lippy Grapes. I mean, he does a great job with it. But, I mean, people are dying for content on the Missouri River system. Doing research for tournaments and stuff like that we've done, me and Chasen have done over the years, there's hardly anything out there. It's like, find something, you'll get your next bites, you'll get your Tom Boley going to a Casca, but you don't see much down here, or definitely on Lake Sharp.
Yeah, right. Well, because it's a whole different animal.
Right? Lake Sharp is the unicorn of that system to me. I don't know.
Crappie T, chime in. He fished it last year and he did catch, I think he caught a 28-incher, 8-pounder, whatever. But I think it was tougher than he thought it was going to be. I think he had a better practice. Big surprise there, right? That practice was better than the actual tournament day or days. Well, Bob, go ahead and figure it out though.
Lake Sharp is that unicorn. It's amazing. Like, you go to the West Bend area of Lake Sharp, and it's no secret. People can go get 100 fish days down there all the time, year round. And how it still produces fish, it'll never, it doesn't produce very big ones.
Yeah.
I mean, if he caught a 28-incher, he caught a unicorn.
Yeah.
He caught the absolute unicorn in that lake. And they're there, but they're not many. But you'll catch 15 to 17-inch fish all day long, as many as you can reel in.
Nothing to win you a tournament, but you will take stuff home for the freezer.
If you just want to go get eaters or family fishing paradise, you can go to West Bend, drive 100 yards out of the boat ramp, and start catching fish year round. And
the thing that I want out of Sharp eventually here is sauger. I want to figure that out. There's sauger up here too. I've caught, I think the last sauger I caught was 17 and a half. Matter of fact, it was just off a shelf. And it surprised me. No, it was off Fox. Actually, we were trolling. We were just trolling past Fox, whatever it happened to be. Anyway, so the sauger up there, do you catch many?
If you go back 15, 20 years, they used to catch quite a few, and then it dropped off severely. The last 2 years, we've started to see them a little more than we have. But I just think, they're more of a native river fish than a walleye even. The walleye have taken to the reservoir environment very well. The sauger seemed to struggle a little more with it.
Yeah, it's interesting if you read up on how to fish sauger, because my thought was, well, they're the same. Then I heard people talking about how they're quite a bit different, and you're not going to find them necessarily where you're finding walleye, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And so I started studying up on it because I'm like, I want to target them. I really want to try. So I learned that there's quite a bit of difference in them. Yeah. Tom, Brett, and I hunted pheasants from a boat at Lake Sharp. Okay, well, why not? I mean, there you go.
Not literal hunting, but we were calling out when we heard one.
Oh, there you go. Why not?
There was a lot.
I've not done that. I've road hunted. I called it road hunting morel mushrooms from a boat one time.
Oh, really?
Drive along like there's one, pull in, get out and get the morels. Yeah, I've done that, but I've never shot pheasants in the boat. I have ducks, obviously, but not pheasants. That'd be a new one.
No, I shot a snake. That's the only thing I've shot from the boat. That's it. Look, I'm either shooting that thing or you're going to watch me walk on water because I'm going to be running across it.
Yeah.
And the thing is you can't. In this particular day, I was fishing with my son, and the sun was behind the snake, so it just looked black. It was shadowed. It just didn't have any color to it. I'm like, oh God. So, and then the boat wouldn't start. Luckily I had Jackrabbit on the Tarova, and that got me going. And then after a little bit, I reached down and hit it, and it went. I think God was playing a trick on me.
Yeah.
He's like, but no, I'm glad that you could take time. Here we are at 50 already. Blows my mind how fast this stuff goes. The fact that you're a busy dude, you got a lot going on, took time out to sit down for an hour with us and talk about the opportunities for people who want to learn more, want to get better at it, So let's to kind of wrap things up. Let's run through the opportunity that you're giving folks to follow you and to learn more.
Yeah, there's the insider community, which you just flashed there. So there's 3 different tiers of stuff that you can subscribe to on Patreon that have different levels of bonuses. The main one that people go for is the middle tier, the $25 one, which has fishing reports about 8 to 10, 12 times a month. The higher level up is if you want a little more contact, if you want to call me, talk to me, chat about what's going on in the lake, text me. You can do that as well. And then new this year was the masterclass videos, the premium content stuff, all the deep dives that I added in there. So it's a one-time purchase it, watch it as many times as you want kind of thing.
I was just going to ask, is it a monthly or is it a one-time subscription? And how do they find it on Patreon?
Yeah, so on Patreon, it's Bloemendaal Fishing. So if you go patreon.com/Bloemendaal Fishing, that's how you get there. The insider community stuff is a monthly subscription. The masterclass videos are one-time purchases.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Bloemendaal Fishing, I bet more people would find your content if you had an easier last name to spell.
It's funny because people have tried to get me to maybe change the name and stuff. I started it originally because I thought, my brother was thinking about doing it. My dad was thinking about doing it as a retirement gig. And I thought, well, Bloemendaal Guide Service would be like a family business. Now I'm the only one.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the deal. Once they figure it out, and honestly, I've Googled it numerous different ways, with 2 O's, with an AHL, excuse me, and you still pop up. That's the thing. You've got enough content out there that the Google and YouTube machine know who you are, and they want to make sure people are pointed in the right direction. So spell it how you will, you're going to find it. And I don't know about Patreon, but YouTube and Google most certainly.
Yeah, and I linked stuff to Patreon all the time in the YouTube videos. So if you watch a video all the way to the end, I always put the link in there for Patreon too. And it's on the website, BluemendaalFishing.com.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
We
all right.
appreciate your time tonight, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And we'll probably have you on someday in the future again. So we appreciate everything.
Yep, happy to do it, guys. Thanks.
You betcha. Hey, thank you very much. Folks, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.